What's up, everybody? Coach Mills here, coming at you with a brand new Valorant video. And in this video, we're going to be breaking down new rank distribution stats, because now we know what percentage of players are in Iron, Bronze, Silver, Gold, Plat, Diamond, Immortal, and Radiant. So we can talk about what percentile you're in, how you can improve from there, and a lot of interesting information that we can gain about the difference between this rank system and the system that we had last episode. So there's a lot to talk about. Let's break it all down. But go to the GameLeap website in the links down below for in-depth advanced tips for every single rank. If you really want to surpass your limits and climb, you got to go check it out right now. But without further ado, let's jump into the video. So basically, now we know the rank distribution of players in ranked, and because there was a rank reset, a lot of players are actually a little bit less than they used to be, and the entire rank percentile is a lot different than you used to be. So let's start from the lowest rank and go up to the highest rank and talk about each one individually. First off, 13.9% of the player base is in the Iron rank. Now, I still firmly believe that if you're an Iron, it's because of one of these three different reasons. One, you haven't played the game all that much. Maybe you've played it for a little bit, or you play it for a very tiny bit each day, and you really just haven't played the game all that much at all. Two, you have terrible peripherals, whether that's a really bad mouse, keyboard, a computer that gets you 10 FPS, I don't know. You just really need to upgrade your setup in some way, because your setup is so bad, it's actually preventing you from playing the game. Or you're someone who just came over from console, or a brand new player to FPSs altogether. Now, that being said, the good news is if you have a decent setup, and it doesn't even have to be that good, and you grind the game more, you will rank up out of Iron onto the next rank we have to talk about, which is Bronze, with 28% of players in the Bronze rank. Now, this is our second largest block of players, and the Bronze rank exists a lot of different types of players. That being said, aimers that are good at other games coming to Valorant will not be placed in Bronze. Bronze is typically for players who haven't really put in the hours grinding that FPS skill, because even if you're not used to tac shooters, if you still have a decent amount of skill in FPSs in general, you won't be played in Bronze. But the thing is, FPS skill actually takes some time to develop. Learning how to just properly aim, properly develop your skill, I think that actually players, especially in the Bronze rank, would benefit for something like aim trainers using AimLab and things like that, when I think that overall it's not incredibly helpful for people that already become competent in aiming. But when you're learning how to aim, developing your grip, and controlling your mouse, finding your perfect sensitivity, it could be something that is really useful for people down in Bronze to improve a lot quicker and catch up to people who've been playing FPSs for a really long time that just have a pretty big advantage because of it. Now, as you learn the game more, you develop your mechanical skill, and you just become a better all-around player at specifically Valorant, you're gonna finally rank up to the Silver rank, which is our largest block of players at 35.3% of the total player base is in Silver. Now, something that is actually really interesting is that the average rank is actually Silver 1 through 2. That is the direct average. So if you're in Silver 1 through 2, you are better than 50% of the population and worse than 50% of the Valorant population. So from here, it's all about differentiating yourself from the people around you, slowly learning the tactics of Valorant, mastering the specific tactical shooter nature of Valorant, where it's very unique compared to a lot of different FPS, with only Counter-Strike really sharing the similarities with Valorant. And many players, especially if you're in Silver, you probably didn't play CSGO at all. Now, honestly, there's a lot of ways to rank up past Silver. You could focus on your mechanical skill, which I think everyone should probably just focus on anyways. You could learn more about the game with ability use, and you could master your given agents. There's just a lot of ways to improve from here. Remember, you're the direct mid of the pack. All you have to do is start to do things slowly that differentiate yourself from the people around you in Silver, and you will gain rank and slowly climb. It might not be all at once, but it will happen eventually to the Gold rank, which is surprisingly 13% of the player base. Now, the reason that this is so crazy is that if you're in the Gold rank, you are actually better than 75% of the current player base. This is why if you climbed from some of the low ranks to Gold, you should be pretty proud of yourself, because now you're actually in the upper tier, or the fourth quadrant, the top 25% of the entire game in Valorant. Now, that being said, there's still ways to progress from here, but people around you are going to understand Valorant. They're going to know how to use their abilities. They're going to have decent gunplay, but you got to keep honing that. There's always further that you can push beyond here, and there's always more that you can do. And fully learning how to combine your gunplay, the specific gunplay in Valorant, with your abilities together, and starting to learn decent strategies in the game is going to really help you propel to the next rank, which is Platinum, at 5.9% of the total player base. Now, this is where things get a little bit interesting, because if you actually passed up the silver rank, like went through it, you actually got better than 35.3% of the population. But if you get better than the gold rank, you're only getting better than 13%, but you're getting better than a better group of 13% of the people. So that's just something to think about. Now, in the platinum rank, you're actually in about the top 11% of the player base, getting into the top 10% probably around plat 2. Now, from here, of course, things get a lot more difficult. You start going up against a lot better aimers and diamond and potentially even immortal players. You have to be a lot more diligent in your play. There's a lot less room for mistakes. You have to learn overarching strategies like when to buy, when to sell, and making sure that you don't tilt in your games and throw. And you gotta keep developing that mechanical skill, of course. And eventually, you're gonna climb up and get to that diamond rank, which is a 3.2% of the player base. Now, when you're in diamond, you are officially in the top 4% of all players that play Valorant. You are better than the majority of players in the game, and you should be pretty happy about it. That being said, just a couple steps further, and you're into that coveted Immortal rank. And when you get to Immortal, you're in the actual 0.6% of all players. This means that Diamond 3 is most likely the top 1%, and with Immortal being the top 0.6%, now you are just some of the best players in the entire game. And in order to go even further than that and get to Radiant right now, only 0.1% of all players are in the Radiant rank, an astronomically small amount. Now, looking at this, you can see how players are stacked up against each other. You can really see how if you're gold, you're actually better than a giant majority of the player base. And I think this could really help you put things into perspective, because ultimately the goal of Valorant is to get better than the majority of players. Get yourself better, get yourself to the next tier, because every time you improve, you're surpassing tens of thousands of players that were in your rank that now you actually beat them on the distribution graph. Now, I really want to know your opinion about all this. Are you surprised by any of the numbers? Let me know down below, and why, and which rank are you going to reach by the end of episode 3? Let me know in the comments down below, and to help you, go to that GameLeap website right now for in-depth VODs, tips and tricks, map guides, agent courses. We got it all on the GameLeap website. You can just go check it out right now down below. But thank you so much for coming by. Hope you enjoyed the video. I love your faces, and see you next time.